player is doing may relate to whether it is a foul or not. A lot of people will say, well, you could call holding on every play. No, you couldn't, not under the definition of holding in the NFL. And one of the issues in terms of whether something is holding is whether he is actually affected by some sort of a twisting of the body, which would be holding, or is he simply overpowered? So overpowered is kind of a term of art in officiating. Throwing a flag for holding. And my head linesman came in, and he said, Ed, he was just overpowered. I saw from that angle he was just overpowered. He wasn't held. And I have a lot of confidence in my head linesman, and who came in. And so I just made that announcement. He was overpowered.
I guess that
happens sometimes. In the Pro Bowl this year, I made an announcement. The first penalty that happened in the game was about a minute or 30 seconds to go in the first half. And I said, there are penalties in the Pro Bowl. And then I announced the penalty. And that got a lot of attention. And again, at the time, I didn't even give a second thought to what I was saying. We as officials had just been talking, less than a minute before about the fact, my goodness, this half is almost over and there are no penalties. That's really unusual. Mm-hmm. And so when the penalty happened, that just kind of came out of my mouth. And sometimes I just have a better control on what comes out of my mouth.
Kind of like second nature. I guess the million-dollar question I have for you, Ed, is do you happen to remember who the player was who got overpowered?
No, I don't, but I'll bet you that one of your listeners will know and will let you know. I do not remember that.
I actually...
You said it. You said it was a Patriots game? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was Mr. Chad Brown, a linebacker for the Patriots, and if some of our listeners remember his tenure on the Patriots, that will not be a surprise that he was overpowered on that play.
Oh, that's cold.
Now, we have a couple of quick questions from a few of our fans, Ed, if you don't mind. We have just a few of them. Johnny C. from Arlington, Massachusetts actually wrote into us, and he is asking, I'm sure NFL refs have to be in very good shape. It would make sense considering you're in the middle of the field with a bunch of huge athletes. But he says Mr. Hochuli, I'll go ahead and say Ed, seems to be the most physically fit ref in any sport. How does it feel to know that you have a bit of a cult following due to your chest and your arms?
Well, I would have to disagree that I'm the most physically fit ref in any sport. There's a lot of guys who are real fitness addicts, and I have always done. I just enjoy working out, and I enjoy being in shape, and so I work at it. And the older I get, the harder it gets to maintain. But I get kind of a kick out of the fact that there is that. I hear about that. I hear about the arms coming and things like that. I know I'm not that big. I know my arms aren't big. The players joke with me about it. They'll say, come on, Ed, compare arms. And I look at their arm, and you know, my arm is about the size of their wrist. And their arms are 3 times the size of my arms. But they still want to compare, and it's a joke, and we laugh, ha, 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 about it.
All right, Ed, we got another one from Philly T from Linwood, Mass. Asks, Ed, I believe your son is a ref for college games. Are you glad that he's following in your footsteps, and why aren't his biceps quite as Hochulian yet?
You know, and going back to the earlier question, too, on the biceps, the arms thing, it started with Phil Simms was announcing a game, and it was a horrible blowout, and they had nothing to talk about, and he was desperate to come up with something, and so he circled my arms. He says, look at the arms on this guy. That's how that whole thing started, and then it just kind of caught on. My son is already a better official than I am, and he's still very young. He is the referee of the Pac-12. I am extremely proud of him. He has done such a fabulous job. Now, of course, his whole officiating career, he's had an NFL referee as a personal coach and trainer, so those sorts of things help as well. But he's doing very, very well. I know that he has aspirations to get into the NFL before long, and I look forward to that day, and I look forward to the opportunity to work a couple of games with him. Ask him that every single day. Hey, man, get to the gym. What's up with you? We joke about it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Again, it's Ed Hochuli, one of the best and certainly well-known NFL referees. And again, Ed, thanks so much for being on the show. We really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and good luck this season.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. It's nice to talk to you guys, and good luck to you all, too.
Great. Thank you, Ed. Take care.
That was this week's Dynasty Podcast interactive segment.
Bob, Ed Hochuli is the man.
Eddie Oxage.
I don't think he knew what fantasy football was, though. He was talking about, like, Madden and stuff.
Yeah, not quite the same.
Yeah, but
that's okay.
That was great. He tried, and that was fun. And now every time we see Ed Hochuli on TV watching football, we can say, hey,
I talked to him.
We talked to him, or hey, he's a friend to the Dynasty.
And every time he sees us, he can say the same thing. Like, I talked to those guys.
Right. So that's going to wrap it up here. This is episode number 4. It's in the books. I'd like to go ahead and thank Ed Hochuli. I'd like to thank Coach Jae Young Kim. Thanks to the entire Power Rankings Association, of course. Thank you all of our listeners. We love the feedback, so keep it coming. We urge everyone to think of a question for our future Call the Dynasty Podcast Team segment, as we went over earlier and as we will go over more in depth next week. Let's go ahead and, Bub, let's divulge to the public who will be on the interactive segment next week. I know that we've been promoting that we couldn't believe some of the guests that we've got so far this year. Obviously, Mike Lovejoy, Sister Amy Laura, fucking Dave Richard, Ed Hochuli today. Next week is our doozy, Bub. Other than Tony Danza, Bub, who is the greatest American actor of all time?
I thought you were going to say, who's the boss?
Well, he is the boss.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, well,
the greatest American actor of all time is... this is on a Family Guy episode. I don't remember his name.
You don't remember? Okay, I'm going to give you a hint. Your team name.
McKelty Washington?
Okay. Your team name is Bubba Gump Shrimp,
Yes.
which obviously comes from the movie...
Forrest
Gump. Okay. Who starred in that movie, Bubba?
There's no way you got Tom Hanks.
You're doubting the
serious?
scooper? You are doubting the bastard. How dare you? Ladies and gentlemen, we have Tom Hanks, American actor, star of Forrest Gump and many films, probably the greatest actor of all time, on the Dynasty Podcast next week. If you don't believe me, then fucking listen next week and get your ears blown away. Bub? Go ahead, go.
Don't forget to refresh your GameCast page once the games actually begin. Failure to comply will result in 36 needles injected in your nutsack.
This is Commissioner Scooper.
And this is Tom Hanks. We'll
be back next week with episode number 5 with Coach Phil Tamulus, Tom Hanks, and much, much more. Good luck to everyone in week number 3. Over and out!
This is Dynasty board member and power ranking ranker, Coach Matt Whiffen of the Hong Kong Cavaliers. And this sexual episode of the Dynasty Podcast was brought to you by Jube's Family Restaurant. Bring your kids, bring your pets, bring your creepy step-uncle who wears an eye patch and smells like peanut butter. Jube's Family Restaurant welcomes and serves all.